We got the Wagonmeister with us right now. Elizabeth Wagmeister from Variety is here. Elizabeth, a former intern here back in your college days. Good to see you again.
You too.
All right.
So that was one of the lighter moments.
That was the least essential moment in the
entire. Honestly, it was kind of a heavy show.
It was very heavy, very emotional. That was one of the comic relief moments, probably, as you said, the lightest moment. I loved that, but that's really not what the show is about. And that's what I love so much about the premiere of I Am Cait. You know, it is on the Kardashian network, so I think that a lot of people were not sure what to expect. Was it going to be splashy? Was it going to be in bad taste?
And not only is it the Kardashian network,
formerly called E.
Yes.
I mean, this is the Kardashian network blood, essentially.
Exactly. But it was so great. It was done in great taste. You really learned from it. It was very dark. Even though it is called I Am Cait, and of course it is Caitlyn Jenner's story, it really wasn't about her. It's about everyone and teaching the viewers what the trans community is all about. It's about other families going through the same thing. I learned a lot just from the premiere.
See, I think a lot of people, though, are disagreeing with you on this. I saw it, and I think the mood was very different. It wasn't reality show-like. It did feel like a docuseries. I thought the mood matched the subject matter, so I liked it. But I am hearing a lot of criticism.
People were bored
from people. Well, some people were bored, but also they found it to be self-indulgent, and they found it to be all about Cait and all about the outside and not the inside, and all about the look and the makeup and the close-ups and the very Kardashian-like shots. And so there is criticism there.
Right. Now, I disagree with that. I have heard some criticism that they had a lot of Kardashians in there. My answer to that, they are Caitlyn's sons and daughters, you know. Of course they're going to be there. If my father was going through a transition, I would visit him too.
So you're saying there are a lot of Jenners in there?
Yes, there was one Jenner last night, Kylie.
Only one
was
Jenner.
And some didn't show up, and some
not
didn't
yet,
show up.
but I anticipate
and
that we'll see
Kanye
them
too.
Yes, Kanye was there. He also provided some comic relief, which was nice. But that was such a small moment to have.
I have a question for you, and I bring this up, and I know I'm very annoying on this issue all the time because we tend to say everybody's watching. All of America's talking about. She's America's sweetheart. There are 320 million Americans. I know you don't have the ratings. Do you think 1 out of 20 Americans watch that?
No,
Do you think 1 out of 50 Americans watch that?
You know, it is on E, so it's cable.
Even if it were on broadcast.
Even if it were, right.
Yeah.
So the Diane Sawyer interview, for instance, brought in 17 million viewers.
Which
That's
means
a huge number now.
But it means 303 million weren't watching
exactly.
that. But the larger point I want to make, because of the world we live in social media, it doesn't matter who was watching.
It's about what people are talking about.
And it was trending all night.
Ether. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And people are talking about it. And even if they're not watching it, they're going online. They're watching clips. They're seeing what other people are saying. So even if you didn't watch, everybody knows about Caitlyn Jenner and knows the story that she's telling and knows the difference that she's trying to make. And that's what I think is important.
This is a very different kind of show for E, and it definitely, to me, felt different. It did not feel like a reality show. In fact, in the end, and I think a reason a lot of people found it boring is in the end of the show, Caitlyn did something really important, and she went to the home of the family of a boy who had taken his own life.
Yes.
And I mean, that's a big part of this.
Elizabeth,
People are dying every single day.
Isn't this also new? Because one of the things I've noticed about the Bruce Jenner, the whole transition was he was not part of any particular community in terms of trans.
Right.
He didn't come from that community that had been proactive through the years. He came at it from an entirely different direction.
Right. And, you know, the show started out like that. You know, she said people are dying over this and we can't have that happening. So you knew from the second that you turned that show on that that's what this is going to be about. And we saw in the teaser, she visits other trans, the whole community, and she sees people that have been involved in hate crimes and awful, awful things. So I think we'll really learn a lot about that. And something that I loved about it, I think if you watch this and if you still think that this is a publicity stunt, I don't know how you can think that. You know, because you're really hearing her story, you're learning so much. And actually at Variety, we found out that this has been in the works for quite some time, which you know if you watch the Diane Sawyer interview. But actually back in the 80s, there was a reporter that wanted to put out a story about Bruce Jenner cross-dressing. And at that time, Bruce knew that would have ruined his image, ruined his career, and he actually went to a man of the name of Alan Nerob, who was not his publicist.
No, but it was the major guys, Mel Gibson's, for instance, I believe. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yes. So major Hollywood publicist, he went to him and he said, this is going to ruin my career, what do I do? Alan squashed the story, never said a word. So 30-odd years later, Bruce trusted him. And when he said it's time to come out and I need to tell my story to the world, we're living in a new age and I could really help people, Alan is the one who secured the Diane Sawyer interview. He facilitated this entire mastermind behind this, you know, Caitlin's story, and that's what I think is amazing.
And
it's
the
not
thing
a PR
is,
stunt.
as difficult as this is for a family, and as difficult as this is for Caitlin, she says even on the show, the response has been overwhelmingly positive from people, you know, in the world that seem to matter to her. Elton John, Lady Gaga, like all
and you also have to
people.
cut some slack for people who say, hey, it's publicity, because they live in the world of nothing but publicity.
Exactly.
You can't
escape it.
You shouldn't be put in prison for calling a Kardashian effort publicity.
Right, and we saw that. We saw a scene last night where the paparazzi was chasing Caitlin, and she says, one photo of me goes for $250,000. So you know what?
Insane.
I say if there's cameras on Caitlin, at least she's doing something great about it.
I'll repeat the story which I've told here before. It must have been about 1984, 83. I was in Malibu, and there was a dance class for little kids, and one of my little kids was in dance class, and there was somebody standing next to me who started talking to me as if this person knew me, chatting back, and I turned around and I realized it was Bruce Jenner. And I had this aura, which I didn't fully understand at the moment, of that I was standing next to a woman.
Interesting.
It was a very strange moment. I couldn't encapsulate exactly what it was. But I had this. He looked different. He seemed different.
Well, knowing what we know now, a transition began back in those days, and then
Bruce always felt like a woman, and that's what he was telling his mom last night on the show, and I thought that those were some of the most touching moments. She said, this is hard. How do I accept this? Right.
Elizabeth, thank you very, very much. Elizabeth Wagner from Variety. You want to toss it to Lisa in the newsroom? Just say hi,
Which
Lisa.
camera are we looking at? Right here?
Yeah.
Lisa Breck in the newsroom.